Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and I'm finally back after heart surgery to start recording again. So today I'm going to take a look at specifying bed types in OrcaSlicer. So let's go ahead and get started. Periodically, I check the wiki for OrcaSlicer, looking to see if there's anything new or interesting, particularly that I can make a video on. One of the things I noticed the other day was under bed types. And OrcaSlicer, and I think several other slicers, give you the ability in your start code to set a current build weight. Now, where this is powerful is if you happen to have a printer with multiple different beds, you can set it up instead of having to run a bed level and set your Z offset every time you change beds. You can actually save your Z offset based on the name of the bed. And then whenever you change beds, you just specify in OrcaSlicer what bed type you're using, and then it automatically updates the Z offset. You can see the code here on screen. Now, OrcaSlicer basically supports 4 types of bed: cool plate, engineering plate, high-temp plate, and textured PEI plate. Now, for our use, let's say we wanted to use a cool plate. It doesn't necessarily matter that we're actually using a cool plate or not, mainly because the Z offset is all dependent on what the user sets as opposed to built-in settings. Because right now, I think on one of my printers, I have a smooth PEI sheet and it's really not listed. And I think I always just call it an engineering plate and then put that in my G code, my start G code. So that way, when I start printing, it automatically updates that Z offset. So let's take a quick look over in OrcaSlicer, and then we can sort of see where you set this. And then we'll take a look at some G code and see where we need to paste in our code. Looking over in OrcaSlicer, to enable multiple beds, you're going to go up here to the printer settings, and you'll notice there's a checkbox, support multiple bed types. We're going to check that. And then if we close this window, you'll now notice that we can select the bed type here. Now, as I mentioned, this will allow us to do several different Z offsets depending on the bed, but also if we look at this more carefully, go under filament here, and you'll notice we can also set different temperatures for the beds. And that's a little bit interesting. Now, typically, I almost always do the smooth PEI high-temp plate, and I do 60 and 60. But here recently, I've begun switching over to the Big Tree Tech BQ Cryo Grip Pro Glacial beds. Now, I really like these, and I've had good luck with it. They're double-sided, so I can select both smooth and a textured plate. And with these, they tend to run maybe 5 to 10 degrees cooler. So you're actually bumping down the temperature a little bit for these beds. So again, if we go back over to OrcaSlicer and take a look at filament, we can go down here for our cool plate and again, set a different temperature. So I could set 55 and 55. So this gives us the ability to have several different temperatures stored and makes the start G code as well as our various settings sort of optimizes things so we don't have to remember to go in and change temps. We can set it once and basically forget it. Now, in order to make all this work, you need to make a change over here to the actual start code. So let me switch over and we'll take a look at the starting G code. There we go. And so basically at the end here, I've added this bit of code. So car underscore bed underscore type equals car underscore bed underscore type. So what this is doing is it's sending to my printer start code what the current bed is. And then I can go over to my start G code, make some updates, and have it actually use that value. Now I'm going to show you a sample of G code for you to look at that I think is a really good reference and explanation. So let me go over to Chrome real quick and let's take a look right here. So I found this post on the Creality K2 Plus forums. And this is a really good explanation of setting up a start G code. And if we look here, first thing they're doing is setting a string to grab that variable. So the variable is all in uppercase here. It's the car underscore bed underscore type. So that's the bed type we sent. And then they're going down here to this if statement. And depending on which bed they're using, there's a different Z value. Now, this is a little bit more complicated, but we can also look over here. And I actually had the AI generate some code for me. And you can see in this code, they're, again, grabbing that variable for the bed type. Go down here to the if statement. And so depending on the bed type, they're then setting the offset and the move a little bit differently. And if you look here for this glass, they're setting the Z offset to 0, the move to 1.3. For texture PEI, they're setting it to a Z of negative 0.03 and a move of 1.3. And then lastly here, they have an else statement for any other unknown type of bed that you might use. And again, going back over to OrcaSlicer, we can see that there are several other different types of beds. Maybe we don't have those set. Oh, there's an else statement to sort of cover that scenario. So again, this is all pretty interesting stuff. And this gives you some extra power, particularly if you use in different bed types. Maybe you're not necessarily interested in changing the Z offset, but you would be interested in maybe running a different temperature. So either way, if you're doing a different bed type with the Z offset, you're setting that in the start G code. And then if you're doing a different temperature, you're going over to filament, and you're setting that right under the settings. So again, pretty neat stuff and pretty helpful. Now, again, I apologize if this video is not up to my current standards. I'm still recovering from my surgery. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Have a great day.